dead. All radio is dead.
Hi, this is Casey Hendrickson, and you're listening to my podcast from my radio show heard on 95.3 MNC. Don't forget to follow me online on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and Snapchat at Casey the Host. You can also find me on Instagram at ASD Knives. Thanks for listening. All right, here we go. Notre Dame professors have stepped in it again. This has not been a good year for Notre Dame. And I don't mean 2019. I mean the past 12 months has not been a good year for Notre Dame. Notre Dame professors have been criticized for comments calling the pro-life activism a part of white supremacy. Now, you assume that professors at the University of Notre Dame are going to adhere to the Catholic doctrine. Now, we know that does not happen. So you assume that the professors at the University of Notre Dame would be pro-life. Now, we know that that's not a thing. But to actually have two professors at the University of Notre Dame come out and say that the pro-life movement is a white supremacist movement is really interesting. And like I said, it's interesting because they're supposed to adhere to Catholic values. So I guess Catholicism is a white supremacist movement based on their logic, because Catholicism is pro-life, right? So if Catholicism is a white supremacist movement and the University of Notre Dame is a Catholic school, therefore being a white supremacist school, why would you, as a professor who doesn't like white supremacy, choose to be employed at a white supremacist school promoting white supremacist ideology? Must be the greenbacks, right? So now there's a couple of other issues here. Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood started off as a eugenics project to kill off black people. They don't tell you that in school anymore, do they? But that's how it started. So now you've also got Planned Parenthood disproportionately aborting black children over other children. It's a ridiculous difference. I don't have the stats in front of me right now. We've covered them in the past. It is multiples over anybody else. Overwhelmingly, black women utilize the abortion services of Planned Parenthood more than any other demographic of women out there. Okay. This has become a huge thing in the pro-life black community because, you know, you look at the percentage of the population that black Americans make up right now, they would be a lot more of our population if there wasn't this indiscriminate movement to end black babies' lives, right? You also have, on multiple occasions, Planned Parenthood accepting donations from people who say, I only want this to go to abort black babies. And we've got them on tape saying, no problem, we can do that. So when you have somebody going out there and saying, really, the pro-life movement is about white supremacy, when it sure seems like the pro-abortion movement is concerned with ending black lives while the pro-life movement is concerned with saving them, sure doesn't seem to line up, does it? Then you got the old Catholic thing. The controversial comments were made during a discussion following the viewing of a Netflix propaganda documentary, Reversing Roe. The viewing and discussion about the film were sponsored by the pro-abortion student group Irish for Reproductive Health. Now, for the record, abortion's not a health issue. Abortion's an elective procedure, okay? Very rarely is abortion an actual health issue. It's never a health issue in the third trimester. Doesn't exist. The medical doctors have made this crystal clear. Third trimester, they can take the child out. They can use incubators and all sorts of other technology to keep the child alive while treating the mother for other ailments. You do not need to risk the mother's life in a third trimester. And it's extremely rare in the first two trimesters for there to be this abortion to save the mom's life. Occasionally, rarely, it will happen. But really, abortion is about having an elective procedure because you don't want to look or feel or change the way that you live. Okay? That's essentially what it is. The Gender Studies program of Notre Dame put this on, and St. Mary's Department of Gender and Women's Studies put this on. So a bunch of groups at Catholic universities that violate the fundamental tenets of Catholicism. And I'm not Catholic, okay? It's kind of weird that I'm more offended by this than many Catholics are. It's kind of strange. Ellie Gardy, detailed the January 22nd event at Notre Dame's Irish Rover newspaper. According to Gardy, a panel discussion kicked off with political science professor Diane Pinderhughes, claiming that pro-lifers were most likely to want to keep America white. Okay, if pro-lifers are more likely to want to keep America white, why are they trying to tell Planned Parenthood to stop killing black babies? Planned Parenthood is actively seeking out black babies to abort. Casey, that's preposterous. No, it's not preposterous. First of all, the data is crystal clear. More black children are aborted than any other race. Oh, where are Planned Parenthood clinics set up? I got news for you. There's not a lot of inner city black women who have to hop on a bus or a train or get a friend to give them a ride because that's the stereotype that they don't have transportation, right? Not my stereotype, their stereotype. And driving across town to go into communities like Granger to get an abortion because Planned Parenthood's set up right there in South Central. That's where they are. They are set up in poor minority communities, predominantly black communities, so it's easy and convenient for young black women to have their children aborted. That's not the pro-life movement that's doing that. That is the pro-abortion movement that's doing that. So isn't it wonderfully ironic that you've got a professor at the University of Notre Dame saying that people who don't want black babies to die want to keep America white? If they wanted to keep America white, they would support Planned Parenthood aborting black babies like they do. But that's not what's happening. You are. Maybe you want to keep America white, Professor. Maybe that's why you're so supportive of little minority children being aborted and not being given an opportunity to live. Maybe that's why you're supportive of an organization that sets up clinics in poor minority communities. Interesting stuff, right? Abortion is an issue that allows for an effort to control the place of women. What? I'm sure you figured that out, or you wouldn't be at this event, but also how people will reproduce, what the population will be, what it will be like. That's what Pinderhughes continued. It sure seems like she's talking about population demographics. Why is she so concerned with population demographics? The pro-life movement doesn't want any kids, regardless of color, to be killed. She seems to be okay with a preponderance of minority children being killed. Those who push so aggressively for reproduction, continued reproduction without any controls, are those who are also more likely to be in support of making sure the country stays predominantly overwhelmingly white, which of course is in total contradiction with reality. Pam Butler is an associate director of Notre Dame's Gender Studies program. She, too, believes that pro-life activism springs from white supremacist beliefs. Wow. Must be so proud, Catholic University, Notre Dame. Catholic in name only. Got more coming up. 95.3 MNC. Hi, this is Casey Hendrickson, and you're listening to my podcast from my radio show heard on 95.3 MNC. Don't forget to follow me online on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and Snapchat at Casey the Host. You can also find me on Instagram at ASD Knives. Thanks for listening.